Direct action is the theme of my contribution. I think we are in a desperate situation. We have a leadership, we have a majority of MPs, and we have a totally corrupt bureaucracy who are hell-bent on driving this party back to the days of Tony Blair. Whatever the failings of the Corbyn years, a huge step forward in terms of Labour Party activism was made, and that is all likely to be lost unless we fight back. Yes, we can send in motions. Yes, we can get delegates to conference. Yes, we can do all that, and I'm all in favour of it. But how likely is the leadership to take notice of whatever we do on those terms? They've already been obviously trying to subvert democracy throughout the party by suspending members. I myself am the suspended chair of South Thanet. They've suspended members left, right, and centre. They've expelled good members. They've stopped us. They've suspended CLPs, as in West Ham and East Ham. They have done their darndest to stop this party democratically asserting its rights. The left, in particular, they've obviously discriminated against the left. Left, right, and left, not left, right, and centre, just left, right, and left. They have basically tried to stop us functioning. So what can we do? Well, people often talk about the importance of the link with the trade unions. Well, in this situation, we have to do what we do, perhaps the most powerful weapons that unions have to fall back on when all attempts to negotiate fail, which is direct action. Now, direct action is not easy, but we can take it up. We have to it has to be horses for courses. The Labour Party has got regional offices throughout the country. It's got, the Labour MPs have got constituency offices. We have to target those centres. We have to have placards, we have to have slogans, we have to have a plan to spread our members across these different centres and take them up and demand a change. Demand things stop happening, demand a change for the future. And we have to, very importantly, broaden our campaign. One of the big things that they're going to do, and the media is very complicit in this, and the Labour Party know very well how the Labour Party leadership know very well how they will portray this as an internal squabble. This is just the Labour Party fighting amongst itself. But we've got to broaden our campaign. If we're going out on the streets, which is what I'm arguing, as COVID restrictions are lifted, we can do, then if we're going out in the streets, we've got to show what we're all about. And this is a matter for debate, but I think the most powerful issue that we've got to appeal on is democracy, because democracy is being attacked and annihilated in many cases in the Labour Party. There is whole CLPs like my own that can do almost nothing because they're denied contact with their members. Maybe people have seen the Ken Loach letter, which was published in Labour Briefing and taken up elsewhere. He portrays how in Bath CLP, the regional officials just basically stop the CLP from functioning. They stop you communicating with your members directly. They are uncooperative. They cancel your meetings. They rule motions, not competent business. This is not democracy. This is a shroud in democracy. And that's where we can attack the Labour Party, because the Labour Party masquerades as a democratic party. It claims to be a more democratic party than its competitors, than the Tories. And are they? Are they democratic? Of course they aren't. They are being totally undemocratic. But it's worse than that, because it's a pretense of democracy. They're trying to pretend they are a democratic party when they are doing everything they can to stop democracy. So we have to take direct action to expose that. So that's why we need a slogan. I'm not a slogan maker, but my suggestion was something along the lines of, we want democracy. You have something simple that you can chant, that you put on posters, that you put on T-shirts, that you put on mugs, and you embarrass the Labour Party at every turn. And when I mentioned the different offices that you can go outside, but obviously there's another thing. As COVID lockdown is lifted, Starmer himself will be out and about. We saw him on the outside a pub even not so long ago, being totally embarrassed by somebody. Well, that's what members and supporters of LIEN can do. They'll know where Starmer's going to be next, and we go out and we embarrass him. We embarrass him at every turn. But we have slogans and logos which make it clear to the public what we're all about, and that's what we've basically got to do. So essentially, we have to take the campaign to the outside world, and we have to make ourselves clear to the outside world. Part of the direct action that we're doing, and this is a sort of slightly different aspect of it in a way, the Ford inquiry, as people may know, is an inquiry into the leaked report, which was the most, for anyone who hasn't read it, it's the most appalling expose of what's been going on amongst our paid officials, of the way they try to sabotage and undermine the general election, and obviously lost the Labour Party a considerable amount of votes by trying to interfere with what was going on. Who knows? Some people think we might have actually won the 2017 election if we hadn't had our own people trying to undermine everything we did. And they did in South Thanet, I tell you, they did a hell of a good job of undermining us. They gave us a candidate who was the least qualified candidate to run, and then proceeded to try to demoralize everybody involved in the campaign. So they did a pretty good job in some areas. They failed miserably in others. But the Ford inquiry is an inquiry into that leaked report. And they basically had 1,000 submissions from individuals and organizations. And I feel from my communications with the inquiry that it will never see the light of day, or if it does see the light of day, it will be in a very attenuated form. We will only see edited features of it, and it won't be what we're hoping for. But I don't know. I mean, Martin Ford is an interesting character. He's the barrister who's running it, and he's emailed me saying he is going to attempt to publish aspects of that report. I will be amazed if he manages to reflect what I know to be the general tenor of people's submissions to it, which is a catalogue of disgraceful shenanigans within the Labour Party. The Not the Ford inquiry is an event which is coming up on June the 5th. And we're basically going to be running it with other left-wing organizations. We haven't finalized the details of it yet, but it'll be something where we will give the opportunity for people who want to make submissions to the Ford inquiry, possibly already made their submissions, to say, well, if you've got 5 minutes to make your submission, here we go, make it here in a Zoom type meeting, and we will basically see what the basic things that people would say to Ford, and then we will challenge the Labour Party to say, well, is this what Ford would report back if he was allowed to report back what these people are saying? It's an opportunity. It's a direct action in the sense that it's a meeting and a protest all rolled into one. And if it's successful, then who knows? Maybe we'll do a part 2 Ford, Not the Ford inquiry. Yeah. So please do come to that, because it's going to be a very, I'm sure, interesting and entertaining event. But essentially, also what I'd say is, if you have ideas and experience of direct action, and I'm sure there are people out there who have, because there are people there who were involved, I'm sure, in the action or in the miners' strike and in other bits of industrial action. We need your experience. We need your input. We want people to come together and work out what the best way. We haven't got obviously huge resources. We're not like a big trade union. We're a much smaller operation, so we have to use our resources wisely. But we can do it. I believe we can actually make a big impact on the Labour Party leadership's totally and utterly unjust and unfair and undemocratic attempt to take this party back to the days of Tony Blair.
Direct action always sounds like you have to have 100 people doing something, or occupy something, and you need, unless you can get 50 people together, etc. It's just, even if it's 1 or 2 of you, take a picture holding up a placard and send it to us. It looks really good, even with 1 or 2 people. Nobody knows that was just you two, but we can put it out on our social media, etc. And that it really looks good, especially if people do different things in front of different offices, or etc. So you don't need 100 people to do it.